See it.
What's up guys, Vape Vet here again, and I've got a new Atmos Vaporizer for you. This time it's for e-juices and e-liquids, and it's called the Optimus V2. Now, I've tried some other Atmos clearimizers before, just some of the cheaper ones, and they were functional, but nothing to get excited about, nothing to write home about. The Optimus V2 changes all of that. If we take a look at the box here, you'll see, very nice box, very cool looking design here. And take a look at the pin. It's very sleek, very unique looking, and it's not just about style. The new changes are very ergonomic, so it's going to fit very comfortably in your hand. They made some very nice improvements to the previous designs too, so even with the Atmos RX and the Junior, they had a rubber button, so that's been replaced by this nice plastic button that's just, easier to press, easier to find. There's not going to be any issues of it coming loose or anything like that, so that's a much bigger improvement for the device too. And it just stands out from other e-cigs, and I like that about it. And that's maybe not be important to everyone, but if you're going to be using a device long term, you might kind of want it to have a nice look and style to it, and I think the Optimus V2 really accomplishes that. So no leaks, this tank is very sturdy. I've never had any problems. I've taken it out in my pocket all day, and I've never had any problem with creating a mess or anything of that nature. So that's a big plus. I think some of you guys out there know that some of these things will leak on you, get a little bit messy, and you definitely don't want that, especially if you're going to be using the device all day and carrying it around with you. And so another important thing, talking about the tank, it looks like it holds 1.6 milliliters of your e-juice and e-liquids. That's a pretty fair amount, and some of the larger tanks do like 2 or 2.5, but 1.6 is more than enough to last you for a good while. When you're loading the device, you would just take the mouthpiece off. It just screws off pretty simply, and you'd want to just pour your e-juice along the sides. You want to avoid getting it into that hole up there. That's where the vapor comes out of. But you definitely just want to load it along the side. Then you close it back up, just screwing it back on again, screws on tight, and that kind of creates this seal that's not going to let anything drip or leak or anything like that. And then again, you'll notice this is a wickless design, so the Optimus V2 does not have wicked clearimizer tanks, and I prefer the wickless designs myself. I think they produce a bit better flavor and are just a bit cleaner on the vapor, so that's my personal preference. I recommend wickless vaporizer tanks, so I like that the Optimus V2 is that. And now if we look at the battery, this battery is going to be compatible with any of your other Atmos devices, which is cool. You can use this battery on an RX or a Junior or their grinder. Anything with the Atmos threading will work with this battery. I'm not sure what the milliamp hours are on it, but I can tell you get about 20 minutes of continuous power on a full charge. So that means if you're pressing this power button down and it's lighting up blue, this thing should be lighting up blue for 20 minutes before the battery dies on you. Also want to point out, forgot to mention a bit earlier, it comes with a pretty nice looking charger here, so a step above what some of the other e-cigs and even the Atmos RX and Junior had in terms of their wall chargers. Still using a USB adapter, and it's the same type of threading connection. And this can charge your other Atmos devices too, and your older adapters will charge it, but it's just kind of nice to see a slightly more sleek charger here for the unit. So now let's talk about some things that really matter, and that's vapor flavor and just the experience of vaporizing with this unit. Now my favorite vaporizer tank at the moment is probably the Kanger Mini Pro Tank 3, but this device is a very, very close second. So what goes into my opinion of a vaporizer for e-juice and e-liquids is, what is the flavor like? Does it irritate you at all? Is there any burnt taste to it? And is it, the vapor, how much vapor are you getting from it? And what's the throat hit like? Things of that nature. So flavor is very good on the intake. Not quite as much flavor on the intake as the Mini Pro Tank 3, but very close again. And the throat hit, it's about the same. And when you're exhaling, you still get a lot of good flavor from the vapor. And then it's also very smooth. It doesn't really irritate my throat at all, probably because the battery doesn't produce quite as high a temperature as some other devices out there. So, if you have a variable volt battery, you can crank up the voltage and get, hotter vapor, but that can kind of irritate some people's throats. So I think they found a good balance of, the right amount of voltage and heat that produces vapor, that, you know, is good quality, but it's not gonna be so much that it's gonna irritate, you know, most people out there. I think some people do like those higher voltages and higher temperatures, but for a lot of people that can kind of irritate the throat. So I think Atmos, just wanting to cater to most people, have produced a device that does vapor that's gonna be pleasant for the majority of you guys out there. And finally, and this is a must for any vaporizer for e-juice and e-liquids that I'm gonna recommend, there's no burnt taste. I've never experienced anything like that. You know, you load up your e-juice or e-liquid, let it sit for, you know, a minute or two, and then you're good to go. You don't have to do much more than that. And I've never had that burnt kind of taste with it. It's always been a very pleasant, flavorful, smooth vapor for me. So that's it. The Optimus V2, it's all about style and form factor, and with that you get some very good ergonomics. It's very comfortable. The style kind of sets it apart from the other e-cigs out there, which is very nice, and you're still getting great flavor, great vapor, smooth vapor, a great experience, and it's pretty comparable to my favorite device out there, the Kangaroo Mini Pro Tank 3. If you've only been using some of the cheaper clearizers out there, you know, I get it. It's a better bang for your buck to have those. It's more economic, but I will say you will notice a difference in the quality and flavor of your vapor if you do upgrade to something more comparable to this. So you can grab an Atmos Optimus V2 at our site, www.vapevetstore.com. And remember to keep it tuned to this channel for more reviews and tips. Subscribe if you want to get the videos as soon as we put them up. You know, leave comments, leave questions. We're going to answer all of them that we come across. And we'll see you guys next time. Yeah, and I almost forgot. Quick demonstration.